Struck him out. And DeGrom with back-to-back strikeouts. 13 for DeGrom. Dominating night for DeGrom. Struck him out. Nasty slider from Syndergaard. He's just getting rolling. 11 strikeouts for Noah this afternoon. And he goes down on the splitter. That's a good one by Wheeler. Number 9 for Zach Wheeler.
He has just really turned the corner.
And he struck him out. Number 11 for Steven Matz. Matz has been just magnificent.
Hello and welcome to Geico Sports Night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Williamson. Ahead on the show, pitchers and catchers finally in Port St. Lucie as they report to spring training on Tuesday. We'll hear from Brodie Van Wagenen on his relationship with DeGrom, but we first start with a familiar face. Now, doesn't this just warm your heart? Mets special assistant to the GM, Terry Collins, made his way to the field Monday. And look who he sees, reliever Jerry's Familia. Nothing but love for the two guys. The smiles on their faces hopefully stay because Familia's upbeat on the team's future.
It's a great feeling. I mean, I have a couple of years here, and when you last one play, when you pass a lot of years over there, it's tough. And be available to come by is really good for me and my family. And so I'm so excited. The team look really good. I think this is our year. If everybody is healthy, we want to go in deep in the game and we want to win some games.
The Mets come into spring training with a new swagger and confidence, you could say. That's thanks to GM Brodie Van Wagenen and his aggressive approach in the offseason and bold confidence. But on Monday, he was on WFAN with Mike Francesa, who asked Brodie if there was any chance the Mets would be in on Harper or Machado.
I don't necessarily see that as being, or those guys being a part of our plan. We evaluated the market on the front end, had lots of conversations, and we felt like our needs were more in aggregate than they were in individual pieces, and we feel like that's the plan we executed. We built the team obviously in a format to where we would have lots of good players rather than putting all of our eggs in one basket, and that's what we've tried to do.
Brodie's former client, Jacob DeGrom, looks to top his 2018 Cy Young year in 2019. DeGrom's the Mets' prize machine on the mound and received the biggest arbitration raise in MLB history at the time earlier this year. That being said, the Mets in his camp have yet to agree to a long-term deal, but Brodie doesn't think the relationship is fractured.
Oh, I don't think they're strained. I think that Jacob showed up to camp the same Jacob DeGrom he's always been. Smile on his face, loose, happy, throwing bullpens that are dazzling everybody. We love him. He knows it, and he's going to get all the attention he deserves, not just from fans and the public or the media, but he's going to get the attention he deserves inside these walls, and we're going to continue the discussion that we've had in the past, and we'll see where it leads us, but we know he's going to be a part of us.
On Wednesday, manager Mickey Callaway will hold his first spring training presser at 1. Then Thursday, Brodie Van Wagenen and Jacob DeGrom will be available to the media. We'll have it all for you on SNY's social platforms. Hungry for another Manny Machado update? We got one. According to our Andy Martino, the Yanks are still keeping an eye on Machado. The White Sox and Phillies have been more aggressive, and the sense is that Machado will choose the highest offer, which wouldn't be the Yanks as of now. So, who holds the best odds to get Manny? Not the White Sox or the Phillies. It's the Yanks at 1-2, Padres 4-1, followed by the Sox and Phillies. Wouldn't be out of this world if the Yanks managed to pull it off in the end. All right, time now for Baseball Night in New York with Mark Malusis and Sal Licata. So Manny Machado brings a lot of sizzle and power to a club, yet remains unsigned, guys. Moose, do you think the Yanks will be able to pull it off and get Manny?
Well, I think Chris, I think he wants to be a Yankee. But I think right now, I think he probably wants the most money, Sal, and that's really not going to be the Yankees. So, in essence, no. I don't think he's going to be there. The longer it goes, the better chance I do think the Yankees are going to have an ability to swoop in and get him. However, it's not going to be for the greatest offer. If he wants the most money, maybe it's Chicago White Sox or the Philadelphia Phillies, because the Yankees aren't going to offer him the $300+ million that he's looking to get. If they're in the neighborhood of $200+ million and he's willing to take a little bit less, or a short-term deal with an opt-out where the average per year is pretty high, I think the Yankees would be in on that kind of a deal. They're just not looking to go 10 deep on Manny Machado.
And I do think that's why it's taking so long, because he wants to be with the Yankees. He just wants the Yankees offer to come up, and the Yankees are not going to do that. They're going to have their offer in mind, whether they offered it him, or, officially to him or not. Who cares at this point? It's a matter of when he's going to sign and what he's going to sign for. but I think the Yankees are firm in what they're going to give. They're not going to bend. Maybe Machado camp waiting for the Yankees to go give more, but I do think you're right. I think he wants to be here, so he has to make a decision whether he wants to be here or whether he wants the most money, because I think that's two different things. And ultimately, look, I have no idea what Machado's going to choose, but I've been saying he's going to sign with the Yankees dating back to in season, so I'm going to stick with that and still believe that because it's gone this long, ultimately he'll find a way to be happy with signing with the Yankees.
Yeah, the question is, I mean, if you have the big financial package, if Machado and his representatives come back to the Yankees for one final offer, how much less would he be willing to sign with the Yankees? I think ultimately that remains the question.
All right, and moving to the Mets, so Jerry Familia said on Monday that he thinks this is the Mets' year. So with all that they have added, the pitchers in the bullpen, do the Mets, Sal, have the best bullpen in the NL East right now?
Well, I think the Mets have a significantly better bullpen than what they had a year ago, because you look at the closer, Edwin Diaz, you get a guy like that. That should solidify your bullpen. I don't love, though, the other additions. Now, in comparison to the other bullpens, yeah, sure, right now on paper, I think the Mets do have probably the best bullpen in the NL East, but the offseason's not over yet. I mean, there's a chance the Phillies still go out there and get Kimbrel, and you look at the Phillies as a whole, would they be better than the Mets? So, all right, you want to give the Mets an advantage in the bullpen because of Diaz. I don't love Familia, don't love Wilson. I do like Lugo and Gazelman. They have some pieces, Moose, but it's not like the Mets are some super pen that I'm supposed to say, oh, it's going to give them a great advantage over everybody in the NL.
No, but I think right now it's the best bullpen in the National League East. But I also don't, the offseason's not done. I mean, to play the point that Sal just mentioned, if Craig Kimbrel, say, signs with the Philadelphia Phillies, then all of a sudden David Robertson is the setup man down there in Philadelphia. Are the Phillies a better bullpen than the Mets? Yeah, they are. I mean, that's a big deciding factor when you look at overall quality of depth. I love the power arms that you have down in Washington, although I love Diaz as a closer more so than anything the Nationals have. So I think on the whole, the Mets bullpen probably right now is a little bit better than everybody else in the National League East, but there's still one big chip out there that is yet to make a decision where he's going to play.
Here's the thing that bothers you. The Mets could have added a better arm than the secondary arms, second and third arms that they added in the bullpen. It could have been a power pen with Diaz and, say, Britton or Ottavino. Somebody like even Robertson, I thought, would have been a better move than Jeurys Familia. So if you believe Familia is going to be what he was in 15 and 16, then they're going to have a nasty bullpen. 8-9, and they'll fill in the rest with Lugo, Gazelman, Wilson, whatever. But I don't believe that Familia is going to be that guy, and I think they could have done better.
Well, yeah, they could have done better. I mean, I do think Familia, I'm a lot more comfortable with him in that setup man than bringing him back to be the closer for the Mets. I don't think the Mets had any intention of doing that. But to play the point that Sal just mentioned, you could have added Familia and something else and really, truly had a power back end of the bullpen, take a little bit of the pressure off the back end of that starting rotation, have go deep into games. They decided not to do that. The one piece with Familia was enough. I do think they could have added a little bit more and really significantly upgraded. They're better than they were a year ago, and right now on the table, they're probably the best in the NL East.
And so hopefully Familia will be able to get back to his strong points a few years ago, and that will give them much more dominant.
Yeah, throw strikes.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys. Still ahead, is Kyler Murray going to be on the Giants' radar when the draft comes around this spring? Why Murray has decided he'll be picking football over baseball next season. Plus, two of the worst teams in the NBA were playing for the #1 pick on Monday night. But why this one turned out to be a better game than most would expect. Some actual highlights from the Cavs and Knicks right here when Geico Sports Night returns.
Geico Sports Night is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Geico makes it easy to get help when you need it. With licensed agents available 24/7. It's not just easy. It's having a walrus in goal easy.
It's a walrus! Ridiculous! Yes! Nice save, big guy!
Good job, Duncan! Way to go!
It's not just easy, it's Geico easy.
Duncan, stay up. No sleepies.
Do you want a truck that does one thing or a truck that does them all? A truck that's skilled enough to be all-seeing, smart enough to be all-knowing, strong enough to be all-powerful. The all-new Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year.
Coming now during the Ram President's Day event. Or well-qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get a low-mileage lease on select 2019 Ram 1500 Classic models for $179 a month.
Were you hurt at work? Get the workers' compensation payments you deserve. Did you suffer hearing loss at work, or do you have a third-party injury claim? And what about Social Security disability? Get the experienced legal representation you deserve. There's so much at stake. Call 1-800-222-WISH today. For over 80 years, Pasternak, Tilker, Ziegler, Walsh, Stanton, and Romano have defended the rights of hard-working New Yorkers. Call 1-800-222-WISH.
Jets fans, 2019 New York Jets season tickets are on sale now. Don't miss exciting matchups with the Giants, Cowboys, Steelers, Patriots, and more. Secure the best seats and pricing at nyjets.com/season tickets.
I finally got to start my career, except that I was spending thousands of dollars on interest on my student loans and I needed to refinance. And then I found Credible.com. Within just a few minutes, I had actual rates from lots of lenders. Now I'm saving thousands of dollars and I'll be out of debt much sooner. And I can focus on my future. It was so easy, I wish I had done it years ago.
Visit Credible.com to see how much you could save on your student loans.
When I don't feel like talking to my team because I'm pissed, then they can listen to any voice they want. I really don't care. But when I'm sitting there in the middle of that huddle, there's only one voice that matters, and that's mine.
The Nets have dropped their last 7 games in Toronto and have not won there since 2015. The story of the first half was Joe Harris. Buries his 7-3 of the half, already a new career high for Harris, helping the Nets to a 60-56 halftime lead. But Harris didn't even attempt a 3 in the second. That's where D'Angelo Russell picked up the slack. A cold-blooded triple with under a minute to play. Nets with a 125-122 lead. But after Toronto tied things up with a 3 of their own, it's Kawhi Leonard with a chance to give the Raptors the lead. And the bank is still open. Nets now down a pair with under 5 seconds left. So do you play for overtime or go for the win? You always go for the win on the road, but a contested 3 from Russell is off the mark at the buzzer. Nets have dropped 5 of their last 6 after falling to the Raptors 127-125. You got to do something to entice your fan base when the Knicks hold the worst record in the NBA. Over the weekend, the Org made a pitch to their season ticket holders to renew next year, and it included Kevin Durant in the photo with Mitchell Robinson. Shoot, if I were the Knicks, I might do that too, because outside of that, not much really to look forward to. Knicks, losers of 16 in a row, taking on the Cavs. Not much for the Knicks to feel good about, but how about this slam by Mario Hezonja? Sweet biscuits, the nasty dunk. That got the Knicks bench excited and is worth a few more looks. Hezonja drives baseline and throws it down. Powerful jam right there. We jump to the 4th. Knicks down 6. Kadeem Allen hits the floater. He scored 25 off the bench. Now under a minute to go. Knicks down 4. Luke Cornett nails the 3 to make it a 1-point game. Last chance for the Knicks down 3. Dennis Smith Jr. finds John Jenkins in the corner for the 3. And the tie, no good. Rebounded by Smith. One last chance. Fires up a 3. That is short and time runs out. Knicks' losing streak reaches a franchise record, 17 games falling by a final score of 107-104. Now, in a look at the race for last place, your beloved Knicks are number 1, followed by the Suns, Cavs, and Bulls. You really don't want to be the worst team, but if it means getting Zion, well, Knicks fans will take it. Time for a double take back when Moose and Sal, so you both saw the Knicks ad with KD to get fans to renew their season tickets. At this point, what would bother you more? Not signing KD or not getting the number 1 pick?
Yeah, I think not getting the number 1 pick. Because they're historically bad for this franchise. Losers of 17 in a row. Sal, and I know the NBA's changed the lottery the way that they do it, and it's not exactly supremely weighted in your favor if you end up having the worst record in the NBA during the course of the regular season. But to be this bad and to have a talent like Zion Williamson out there, and I know there's questions about how his game will relate to the NBA and translate on the NBA level, but he's a freaky athlete, and he's a really good player, and he's obviously obviously the best overall prospect right now, and is going to be the #1 overall pick. And to be able to have an opportunity to get that kind of guy, Sal, because oftentimes when the Knicks have been bad, they have not been historically bad, supremely bad, to be put in a position to get this caliber of player. So to go through this kind of a relevant season and not end up with Zion, I think it would be really disappointing.
And of course, the year that they are historically bad, the percentages change for the worst team in the league. I mean, it's typical Knicks, again, failing at something over the course of the last 18 years. I'm going to go with Durant, and I understand what you're saying about Zion, and that will be exciting if they do have that #1 pick, bringing him to the Garden. But I think it's Durant now. My expectations, you and I both debated this for a while now. We believe he's coming here. I mean, the chatter is that there's real possibility Durant's coming here. They trade Porzingis. They need 2 max free agents. I'm almost at a point now, Moose, where it's Durant plus or bust. If they don't get him, and I understand I'd be excited about Zion and maybe a max free agent if it's not Durant, but I almost think if you don't get Durant plus, it's going to be a bust of an offseason. And then what it's all for? You could have sold me more on Porzingis, Zion, and then signed somebody else, if not Durant. But now without KP, I think Durant's got to come here. I would be extremely disappointed and upset if the Knicks did not land Kevin Durant after trading Porzingis.
Well, but if you don't get, there's 3 like franchise-changing players, right? When you look at it, 1 via trade, 2 free agency, 1 being Kawhi Leonard, who we just saw hit the game-winning shot for the Toronto Raptors, then being Anthony Davis, that would be via trade, or a Kevin Durant. So if you end up with one of those 3, I mean, I'd be happy A-OK. If it's not Kevin Durant, it ends up being Kawhi Leonard, who I think is a long shot. Or you make a trade with the New Orleans Pelicans and you're able to procure Anthony Davis away from them. And one of those 3, if they're coming to New York and you have a Zion Williamson and you're able to add another max free agent as well, you know what? You're cooking with gas as an organization. It doesn't have to just be Kevin Durant. Now, if you don't end up with any of the 3 and it's just Zion Williamson, then you can't go out there and you can't compound the problem and overpay for guys that aren't worth it.
Well, we've talked about this. I want 3 big assets, 3 big players, however you want to shake it. That means the first overall pick and KD and Kyrie. If that means Anthony Davis, then it's got to be 2 other guys. So how could you get Davis without, though, giving up the #1 pick? You probably can. So that's going to be an issue. They had 1 in Porzingis. They had 1 in the top pick. All they had to do was add 1 max free agent. Now they have to add 2 somehow. It could be Davis via the trade, but then you're giving up the pick. So I wanted the combination of the 3. That's why I'd be disappointed without Durant.
I can't wait for this free agency period to come because that's all we're talking about. All we're talking about is whether KD's going to come to New York, and New York is awful, so we know we have nothing else to look forward to. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Sal, Moose, you're always great.
Thanks.
Still ahead, from 2 of the worst teams in the NBA to 2 of the best teams in college hoops, as the UConn women were in action against South Carolina. Highlights coming up next. Plus, why Derek Jeter now says it's not okay to accept mediocrity and why he has 0 patience when it comes to the Marlins.
Young men didn't know we had enough. We had enough.
Junior Achievement teaches young people all over the world to prepare them for the future of work. We go into classrooms and we teach entrepreneurial skills and leadership skills. When you actually create a business when you're in your teens, it raises your self-confidence.
Junior Achievement is really unique because they inspire young people to think creatively.
The City Foundation's Pathways to Progress initiative helped us reach kids in over 50 countries. City has also loaned us their executives and their employees to help us deliver our programs. Our youth are 3 times more likely to become entrepreneurs, and they're more likely to create jobs for others.
They are going to bring an entrepreneurial spirit to making our world a better place.
The unknown beyond the horizon. That was once our frontier. But today, a new frontier has risen. And this is the vehicle crafted to conquer it. Introducing the first of its kind Lexus UX and UX F Sport. Also available in hybrid all-wheel drive. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
New England's had some of the worst winters in recent memory, so get to Town Fair Tire right now to get the guaranteed lowest price on Bridgestone Blizzak tires. Plus, you always get free mounting, free tire rotation, free snow tire changeover, and a free front wheel alignment with any Bridgestone tire purchase. Drive with confidence this winter, knowing you got the guaranteed lowest price on Bridgestone Blizzak tires, because nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody!
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
You've heard the saying, there's no place like it. It's where the heart is and where our memories live. Where one moment
Absolute master
can bring us to our feet. 2019 Mets tickets are on sale now at Mets.com/tickets. Home, there's no place like it.
Saturday, Rugby United New York, the city's first professional rugby franchise, returns to SNY as they look to rough up the NOLA Gold. Coverage begins Saturday at 3, only on SNY.
UConn hosting the Gamecocks. According to the first NCAA reveal on Monday, UConn slated to be a 2 seed for the first time since 2006. So a chip on the Huskies' shoulder in stores. UConn led by 1 at half, third quarter. The home run pass to Katie Lou Samuelson. She goes up for the easy 2. She had 29 in the game, but she didn't lead the Huskies. That honor went to Nafisa Collier. She muscles her way to the rim for the layup. 31 points for Collier. Kristen Williams was red hot from the floor. Wide open for the three-pointer here. The shooter's touch. She was 7 of 8 from the floor for 19 points. Later in the fourth, Collier again. She also had 16 boards, picks up her own miss, and finishes. UConn rose big at home over number 11, South Carolina, 97-79. We finally know where Kyler Murray's heart lies regarding football and baseball. The Heisman-winning QB posted on Twitter that he'll be choosing football for his profession as opposed to baseball with the A's. Murray's predicted to be one of the first QBs taken in this year's draft. Murray said, quote, "Moving forward, I am firmly and fully committing my life and time to becoming an NFL quarterback." Murray wrote, "Football has been my love and passion my entire life. I was raised to play QB, and I very much look forward to dedicating 100% of myself to being the best QB possible and winning NFL championships. I have started an extensive training program to further prepare myself for upcoming NFL workouts and interviews. I eagerly await the opportunity to continue to prove to NFL decision makers that I am the franchise QB in this draft." Now, Greg Williams' son, Blake Williams, is part of the Jets staff, and initially that resulted in a lot of drama. According to ESPN's Rich Cimini, Jets head coach Adam Gase initially balked at that idea. Eventually, though, he caved in to letting Blake be the linebackers coach. Here's how the rest of the coaching staff rounds out. Dal Loggins replaces Jeremy Bates as offensive coordinator and QB coach. Sean Jefferson will coach the wideouts and be an assistant coach, and Frank Pollock leads the offensive line. Well, it didn't take long at all for Kareem Hunt to be picked up by a team. The former Chiefs star, who was released 2 months ago for hitting a woman, was signed by the Cleveland Browns. It's reportedly a 1-year deal, according to NFL's Ian Rappaport. I'd be lying to you if I said I was surprised that Kareem Hunt got signed by the Browns Monday. The NFL can't help themselves when it comes to talented players involved in assaults against women. I am shocked, though, how quickly a team picked him up. The Chiefs released him 2 months ago, and he already has a deal. He didn't sound too aware of what he did in his ESPN interview with Lisa Salters, but Browns GM John Dorsey said he believes Hunt deserves a second chance after extensive research on him that didn't even include trying to talk to the woman Hunt assaulted. I bet if the victim was Dorsey's daughter, he wouldn't be singing the same tune. But this whole message of giving players second chances feels dishonest. Because let me get this straight. A man who's on video kicking a woman deserves a second chance, but Colin Kaepernick, a talented QB who kneeled peacefully during the anthem for racial justice, still can't find a job? The NFL and the Browns drip with hypocrisy. Journalist Ernest Owen said it best on Twitter: "A black man abusing a woman is more valuable to the league than a black man standing up for racial injustice." This is the NFL. This is America. Up next, why Jeff McNeil got to camp early and why the infielder is now learning a new position. We'll hear from McNeil on the possibility of playing the outfield this season in Queens. That's up right here when Sports Night returns.
Geico Sports Night is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Choosing my car insurance was the easiest decision ever.
I switched to Geico and saved hundreds. That's a win. But it's not the only reason I switched. Geico's a company I can trust, with over 75 years of great savings and service. Now that's a win-win.
Switch to Geico. It's a win-win.
Trails are covered. Paths aren't what they used to be. Roads nowhere to be found. And it's exactly what you're looking for.
Well-qualified returning Jeep Grand Cherokee lessees get this low-mileage lease on the 2019 Grand Cherokee for $259 a month.
When you're in a car or motorcycle crash, the insurance company is interested in just two things: getting you to settle quick and cheap. That's what they do. And no matter how cute their little gecko is or how nice their paid actor sounds, they're not your neighbor and you're not in good hands. I'm Keith Trantolo, and the last thing they want is for you to call me, because I'll make them pay you a lot more than they want to. Call Trantolo and Trantolo and let our family help your family.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
We all want more time with our dads, brothers, partners, friends, and our sons. Time for more conversations, more catch-ups, more of what life's all about. Now is our time to make it happen. Together, we can stop men dying too young by tackling the big issues: prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, suicide. It's time to act. Sign up or donate at Movember.com to help change the face of men's health.
Hey, Joey.
At your service.
How can Brooklyn improve its defense?
Brooklyn? I'll follow that team. Let me use my dial-a-friend lifeline. Oh!
Hello.
Steve-O!
Joey! It's been ages, man.
I got this new job in the technology field. So far, so good.
How's the wife doing?
Oh, you got an hour? She's like a Harry Krishna now.
SNY, complete coverage of every New York team, anytime, from any device.
Get your New York sports here.
Apple. Middle. 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 Pull. 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 Apple. Apple. Middle. Middle.
Jeff McNeil found himself as the odd man out in the Mets infield after they signed second baseman Robbie Cano and utility man Jed Lowry. So in order to get him more at-bats, the Amazons are going to work him in outfield for spring training and beyond. He already trained before spring training to get a head start, so it won't be a problem.
Last year, I was trying to make a team, trying to play well in spring training over the minor league side, and I just had a great year this year. Come in, definitely learning a new position, but I'm not too worried. I know they're going to put me a lot, whether that's left, center, or right, during games. So I'll get used to it.
Now, nothing happens overnight for a team to enjoy success usually, but Marlins CEO Derek Jeter has about had it with his Marlins squad. They posted the worst record in baseball last year, and going into spring training, Jeter's a frustrated man.
I don't put a time frame on it, because anytime you put a time frame on it, you're telling your team it's okay to accept mediocrity. That's not the case. When I've said it before, I'll say it again. When you compete, you're competing to win. Now, you do that every single day, and every day you come out here and you play a game, you have an opportunity to win. I have no patience, man. I have zero patience. I've been preaching it. I don't have it.
One final baseball note, Indy Chavez, the man who pulled off one of the most unforgettable catches in Mets history, is back with the org. He rejoined the Mets as a minor league coach at 41. That's going to do it for this edition of Geico Sports Night. I'm Chris Williamson. Make sure to stay tuned for a fresh edition of the show with analysis on the Yanks, maybe signing Manny Machado, the strength of the Mets bullpen, and whether it's Katie or bust for the Knicks. Have a great Tuesday.
Struck him out. And DeGrom with back-to-back strikeouts. 13 for DeGrom. Dominating night for DeGrom. Struck him out. Nasty slider from Syndergaard. He's just getting rolling. 11 strikeouts for Noah this afternoon. And he goes down on the splitter. That's a good one by Wheeler. Number 9 for Zach Wheeler.
He has just really turned the corner.